I, I shouldn't mention your hair.
No, you shouldn't. So,
I had to.
yeah, I know. I regret having said it. So, nothing like cutting it close because, well, at first Jason wasn't even here, and then I was like, oh, he'll join 2 seconds to go. And then our guest joins, and then we could hear him, but we couldn't see him, then we could see him, but we couldn't hear him, and right on time, here he is. We can see him, we can hear him. Hashtag reboot. We are back for another episode of the Friday Foursome. I'm kind of excited about today. One, because it's 3 o'clock in the morning where our guest is, and he's literally a world away, which is,
Half a world.
half a well. Don't correct me. He's on the other side of the planet, so it's tomorrow. He's in the future, is where he is. But we got Jason Bosley with us from Shop Junior Golf. What's up, Jason?
How's it going?
And Les Bailey from where are you again?
Good Lord. Back Nine
Media. I remember
there
that.
You go.
I think I even wrote it down. And and we've got Wayne Bosley with us from Vision Golf Balls, and I've had the chance to see these, hit these, and I've actually gotten the chance to let some of my golfing buddies play with these, and I am really excited to learn more about, as a golf ball manufacturer, like where you start doing that. And we got a ton of questions with us. We've got Les, you got your hat on? Boom. Hey, guess who's the guest next week? John Hakeem from greenskeeper.org. But greenskeeper.org is the sponsor of the Friday Foursome. Wayne, welcome to the Friday Foursome, and start by telling us where you are and what time it is.
So actually we're in Sydney, Australia. I'm on the northern beaches, and it's not so bad. It's 5:30 in the morning now, but I've been up for a few hours.
So are you still up and going to bed, or are you up and ready to attack the day?
No, I'm good now because it's sort of like the adrenaline's pumping, so I'm all happening, so I won't be going back to bed.
Awesome. Well, the best part about the next half an hour is that we're going to have an awesome accent to listen to. So, Jason, none of your comments that you sent via email that I'm sure he doesn't hear about putting shrimp on the bobby. I'm sure he hears that quite often. So I gotta know. Tell me who you are with the company, where it started, and what your role is with Vision, and just kind of paint us a picture of what the company is.
Okay, so where we are is my family originally were the Titleist distributors for Australia and New Zealand. We did that for 20 years. And my background with my family is my father's been in the golf industry since 1960. And he was involved with leadership promotion with tour players since that time. So, and the model that he worked on is the model that Titleist adopted over the years under Wally Uline. Now, from that, we had a period of time in between where we did some work directly for Wally Uline on tour when Greg Norman took over our company. And I did that for 3 years with my father. And then my kids got to an age where it was like I was traveling too much and I wanted to do my own thing, because what we did learn when we were Titleists and Pinnacle and FootJoy is we built a business that we had no equity in, and we had no input really into the designs. And that's sort of the passion that I have for life. I love the way the product developed and why you develop and what you could do. And when you're not really based in America with the Acushnet company, you really weren't seen to be relevant, or your ideas weren't seen to be relevant. So anyway, I retired from working with Acushnet, and I decided with my father that we would work together again and try something different. And the reason we decided we would do something really different is my father came up with an idea of how you could do better visibility in golf balls. And the main premise of what we're doing nowadays is built around the idea that the golf ball cover can absorb some energy, UV light, and it can become brighter. So we've got this process we call UV. We're now calling it Stay Bright technology, but it's based around UV light. We talk about the balls being UV balls. It's not the whole business, but I'm involved with the design process, the marketing. We're doing it as a boutique brand. You got to think more like how Scotty Cameron developed his business. We want to be that guy in golf balls. We don't want to be Mr. Srixon. We don't want to be Bridgestone. And when we're doing something different, here, I'll show you this. You got to see it. This is where we're heading.
Holy cow!
Holy
that's
cow!
cool.
That's like super bright.
Okay. And you know when they say who's the future of golf and that, we are the future of golf. It's so cool.
That puts night golf in a whole new ball game right there. That is
I
really.
mean, yeah, you're like, when you talk about, hey, what does it do? No, I had to do something because our balls have been glowing for 10 years, but it hasn't been obvious to everyone. I've been working on this thing now 10 years, and we've got some really cool stuff that we're moving on to. So that's sort of the basis of what we're all about.
Well, that is really cool, and I mean, you've kind of touched on it a little bit. Like, you were in a very competitive market. Everybody's got a golf ball, it seems. I mean, Monster Golf Ball is somebody that's up and coming. They're really active in the golf community. I mean, obviously Titleist and Callaway and all of the different golf ball manufacturers. So, I guess short answer: what makes you decide to want to develop a golf ball like that? I mean, where does that process start? I mean, it's just such an interesting concept to go up and I mean, not necessarily. You are competing with like Titleist and Callaway, but at the same time, you said it. You're kind of a niche brand. So, kind of what made you just decide to get the ball rolling, so to speak?
Now, well, what you've got to understand, if you look at the golf ball industry over the last 40 years, there have been very few golf ball companies that have actually succeeded. And if you look at the American market in particular, there has been, even the major players in your market have not necessarily been profitable. I mean, you go back to the years when Top Flight Spaldings was the biggest turnover of golf balls in your market, they were not profitable. They end up going broke. You have a look at Callaway. If you have a look at the amount of money they've invested in golf ball development over all the years that they've been having a go at it, they have never, ever made back the capital that they originally invested in, first of all, building their own factory, and secondly, buying Top Flight for all the patents. So one of the issues you run into in the golf ball space is there's a lot of protective patents that have been taken out to try and prevent new players. So understanding that, you've got to go, okay, it's a really difficult market, so the only way you've got a chance is if you're very different. You can't try to be like a Kushner, and you cannot fight in their backyard. So the only reason this is relevant, that we wanted to do what we're doing, is I played yellow golf balls when I was playing elite golf during the 80s, and I love the aspect, and I'm colorblind a bit, red and green like most guys. I could really see the yellow better, but the yellow then was still like a lot of the range balls of today. It wasn't a super bright yellow. And what we saw in 2004 was the introduction of clear covers and the ability then to mix colors within the cover so that you got that glass effect, and you could then potentially do something with that cover material. And that's the only reason we're doing what we're doing, because painted golf balls are done, and a lot of the ideas that you currently see in play on tour today, they are over 15 years old. So where is the new ideas? There isn't any new ideas. And if they keep telling you that the revisions of the golf balls that you currently see today are better than the balls of 1999, I would say to you they're not. All they are is different specifications. And if they say to you 5 and 6 pieces are better than 3 pieces, no, talk to Bill Morgan at Acushnet. He will tell you, look, 3 pieces maxes out what we can do, but in marketing purposes, we make a 4-piece ball, but 3 pieces maxes it out. And I believe down the track, you'll find that a multi-density 1-piece golf ball will still achieve what a multi-layer ball does today. But that's maybe 10 years away. But I don't see where the Pro V1 of today, which is the most popular ball, I still think in the world market, and it's the most profitable golf ball, is better than the 1999-2000 ball that we helped launch to the tour. And if that's the case, I thought that there was an opportunity in the premium game improvement market to come up with a totally different aspect, not tour validated, balls to help people play golf better, that buy their golf balls. And one of the main things that we've been on about for 10 years now is visual performance. Because most players that play golf today are over 40 years of age, and they've got some sort of sight issue. And you can help them. It could be the bigger numbers that we're doing, the clearer markings, brighter colors, brighter whites. I mean, at the moment, I don't know if you can, it's hard to see. I'm doing a white now, it won't show up, and they're brighter whites, and the whites stay the same whiteness for 18 holes. play a painted golf ball. Look at it on the back nine. It's already starting to look a bit milky.
Yeah.
And you know the main thing in golf is focus on the ball, focus on its flight, find it. Those three things can,
That's one thing Jason has a problem with is finding it after he hits it.
That is definitely my problem. You know what?
So
One of my questions was, what's different about your golf balls from other golf ball manufacturers? And when you turn the lights out, like all of my questions.
You got it.
Now,
You got it.
now I'm just gonna sit here and listen because I have no other questions. Like you proved everything on that.
So Jason, you know the whole thing is I wouldn't still be, because the golf market's become so hard since that global financial crisis in 2008, and we've got too much manufacturing in the world now of golf equipment, which for some manufacturers, in the golf ball area in particular, we've got a lot of product that's being discounted, and it's been discounted for years, and it's very good product. If I wasn't significantly different, there is no place in the market for me today.
Totally agree, especially from a business perspective. Could completely agree. So with that frame of mind, what are you doing differently to introduce the public to your golf balls? Some of the kids here, they have night tournaments. Like, are those things that you're focusing on? How do we in the United States learn about your product?
So what it is, I've been test marketing in America since 2007. And it was interesting because the web forums used to be very powerful as far as research, testing, getting people in an R&D sort of grouping that you could pull information from for exposing your brand. And I had some really good following through SMT Golf in Chicago that was helping me there. And we were doing really well. GFC hit. And I kept on holding back because the one thing I've learned over the years is if the ball doesn't feel and sound right, you're not going to get that market penetration that I want. And because I'm coming from a perspective where the balls might be perceived to be a bit of a novelty, I've been quite prepared to wait to have a proper go in America until I thought I had the right balls. And where I'm at now is I'm not looking for major distribution. You mentioned earlier, Ricky was talking about Monster Ball. Now, Monster Ball is part of a group of 10 companies that are currently being sued by Acushnet for infringements over a dimple patent that goes back to the early 1970s. I don't agree with that particular court case that they've pulled because it's a very old patent and it's a very generalized patent. But what it is, the reason they've got these 10 guys and they put them all together is they all buy their product from one factory in Taiwan. And those guys in Taiwan, I've done a lot of testing for, and they're not creating something new either. So the marketing, Vice Golf, Monster, 3Up, Riva, all these guys will tell you their main marketing approach over the last 4 years in America has been, we've got a ball that can sort of compete with a Acushnet, Titleist, Pro V1. It's sort of like that. It's not. It doesn't sound like it. It doesn't feel like it, but they're not bad, okay? But their whole premise of their marketing has been, we're cheap. And I don't agree. Cheap has no future in golf. Cheap has no future in business. But their whole marketing models for all those companies that are the up-and-coming ball brands is that they're cheaper than Titleist. Now, everyone can be cheaper than Titleist because Titleist has the most expensive marketing budget in golf balls today. And the reason they got, say, 70% of all players playing their balls is no other golf ball company wants all those tour players, because it's too expensive. I mean, so when you have a look at what's going on, I'm working with a Korean company. We were going to build a factory in Australia, but it didn't make sense. So we found a really good partner in Korea, and we've been working with them. They're originally owned by a chemical company. They've got really good advanced R&D facilities. I work with the Queensland University here on different cover materials. We are doing some things that are, and I'm working on that are better, but it's hard for a lot of the golf balls of today with the rules of golf to be significantly different from one another. So if you said to me, what can I do that's very different, it's going to be about the brightness and the retention of the brightness and what that brings to your game, because in all honesty, there's not a lot that you can do that's going to be different from one another, and all that marketing and all the companies do, and that's where a Acushnet that was originally sold from an American corporation to the Koreans, and you'll find that it's probably going to go public next year. They're not looking at the future growth, because there is no future growth for the Acushnet brands. I mean, they're a mature business. And the best, so when I look at that, my idea is good. I'll pick up my boutique. I'm getting a really good range of players that are coming to me. I talk to the baby boomers. No one's talking to the baby boomers. No one's talking to the learner golfers. No one's talking to the women's market. And you wouldn't believe it. On the flip side of that, I get a lot of guys that go, I can just see the ball better, and I love the big markings.
Somebody that could use that, Les.
Yeah,
that's probably the big fonts on his phone.
Yes. Speaking of baby boomers, that I kind of fall right into that one, don't I? The question I had.
That remark.
What's that?
I said you kind of resemble that remark.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
That's funny.
That kind of leads up to the question I had. My first question was, how much does golf ball technology actually, affect high handicap and older golfers? All this technology I see is for 20% of the people who can really play well. The other 80% is, I can tell you right now, today, it doesn't matter if I hit a top flight or a Titleist, because I don't have the swing speed to support the new technology anymore,
Yeah, that's a good point.
Another thing that I brought up with my junior golfer is that, he wants to play Pro V1 and Pro V1X because that's what he sees on TV.
Right.
All the tour guys playing. But come on, he's got like a 60-mile-an-hour swing speed because he's 9. So like, is that golf ball is not going to react the same way for him as it is somebody that swings at 110 miles an hour.
And I got to stretch it anymore to hit 85. So.
Good question. So you got to, first of all, I'll keep on, because I'd had a lot of dealings with Bill Morgan, and Bill made a comment the other day, because Acushnet in the last 6 months have changed their advertising on the Pro V1 golf balls. They've done two things. First of all, the ads that you see in America now have a distance graph against competitive products, and they talk about the fact that at any swing speed, the difference in distance is, we're talking yards, a handful of yards. So they're counteracting the old story that we all grew up with, that a 100 compression golf ball would go further, a lot further, and that if you compress the ball properly, if you didn't compress the ball properly, it wouldn't go as far. So Acushnet's approaches, they're trying to refute that sort of comment. Between you and I, there is so much work we can do for people under 90 miles per hour to help get some extra distance, and we're talking about better trajectory and keeping the ball in the air longer. And remember, there's 2 aspects. You get the ball up there, you want it to be like a javelin, you want it to fly a bit further, and that's where some of the dimple technology is a little bit more efficient than it was. But I reckon, Jason, you can understand now the market is about trying to fit to people that it's not about even their driver swing speed. I'll tell you today, you go and measure your juniors, front 9, they're hitting it at a certain speed with their driver. The back 9, they are hitting it at a different speed with their driver. And when you pick their 5-iron swing speed, it's totally different again. It's lower.
Right.
So, so you can do stuff to help the guys. I believe you can do stuff to help people that are less than 95 miles per hour swing speed, but you'll find the majority of people today hit a lot of iron shots that are probably in the 70s. And you can help them, but Les, to your question, how much do you want to pay for that technology? Well, I put it to you this way, a really good multi-layer golf ball designed for players that are starting to learn how to play the game better, they can score better. And that's where you come into the philosophy for a lot of Titleist's marketing over the last 5 years, which is scoring's done for 100 yards out. Now, I don't care how far you hit the ball, but the reality is if you've got a ball that's relatively straight from 100 yards in, that you feel like you've got good distance control, is good to chip and putt with, and also has good distance control when you putt, can help you actually end up with a lower score. The idea is then to match that in with a ball that when you're not hitting the ball very well, still sort of goes a reasonable distance.
Yeah, it's been a long ride since we had the Bellata ball.
Yeah.
with the Serlin cover that
You hit an iron, it slices in two.
you're right. I was raised on those.
So we've got some questions from greenskeeper.org, and Johnny GK asked a few, and the three he asked you've already answered through your conversation. So Johnny, sorry, his questions are not being answered. Grantar2 had 3 questions. You've answered 2 of his 3. So I'm going to go into the one that you haven't answered, which I honestly feel like we could have just teed you up and just let you go. This is fantastic. So he wants to know, the golf balls that you are producing, do you have high spin and low spin balls? Are you separating those?
No, that's a great question, because what I tend to believe is there should be 3 levels of golf balls that you have if you really want to bring a person into the game and you want to be that company that can follow their progression as a player. So I do believe in what Callaway have done with the super soft, but I don't agree with being too soft, because, you know, Les, when those balls are really soft, the kids can't control the putting as well, they can't control the chipping as well. But the thing is, when you're learning to play, all your bad shots can feel incredibly bad. You can design a ball that feels good even when you're not hitting it that well, and it can sort of help. So that's one ball. The second ball is the ball that gives you pretty much maxes out your distances, and it gives you reasonable amount of spin. Enough spin to be able to hit the ball, and if it's got the right trajectory, it comes in and it can stop. And you're not looking for spin with a sand wedge around the green. You're looking for it to be one of those balls that releases, but it releases in a controlled manner. But when you're talking putting now, you're trying to have a ball always that sort of feels the same. And I would say to you, it's not quite the Pro V1, because the Pro V1's a little bit rubbery for some people, but it's along the lines of that soft, solid feel on the 3 balls. The third ball is the ball that you can achieve a bit more spin only around the green with a partial wedge, with a sand wedge, with a lob wedge. That helps a person score, and that type of player also can maneuver the ball a little bit more than other people, so they need a ball that they will accept the fact that they want to shape it a bit more. Even though, and Jace, would I be right in saying most kids today are being taught to bomb it as long as you can, as straight as you can, and we can use therefore 8-9 wedge, high launch, and bring it down on top of the pin, so they're not looking for a lot of shaping in life, are they?
Correct.
The Bubba Watson method.
Yeah. So we only have 5 minutes, so Jason, ask a quick one because we got to get to the back 9. I literally feel like we just started and we're almost out of time. So Jason.
Well, so here's my quick one. I actually work with a partner that is based in New Zealand, and he does quite a bit of business in the Australia area as well. Do you know Derek from Par Golf, Par Plus Golf?
Yeah.
Good.
I know of him. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he sells kids golf clubs. I do his U.S. distribution here in the States, and
Yep.
you know, curious, you know, on that or with that partnership, like, do you market directly to kids? Because I would think that would be a pretty good market for you.
Yeah. So no, it's a really good thing. So what I've done is, the question you got to ask is, have I had a high spin ball yet? No. The reason I haven't really gone to the American market properly is there is a pyramid of influence in life, and it's usually about coaches, and then it's about the players and their influence on the players that are coming through. And because I haven't had a ball for them to play, and because most of those players have been associated with balls like the Pro V1, they've looked at a ball like mine as being something that they personally wouldn't even try, so they wouldn't even recommend. So let's talk about where we're heading now, and that's why we're doing this conversation now anyway. We're getting close to having those balls and that's why 2016 is really relevant for what I'm doing. When you're talking kids, I'm going to be marketing more to the kids, but the kids actually have been one of my strongest points because they love the fact that my stuff's cool.
Right.
And the new and I've been working really hard for 4 years on this new glow factor, because the kids, even if they play a Pro V1, if I've got a ball that plays something similar to a Pro V1 as my top golf ball, and it glows like that,
Oh
and I
yeah.
don't care. You got to try it, don't you?
I kind of want to
can't
play it
wait.
right now. Yeah. So, Les, I'm sorry you don't get a final question unless you've got a quick one.
The only one I had is your website is really not up to date, and so I'm curious, how do you market your balls?
No, Les, really good question. Okay, so what's happened in the last 4 years is I spent 6 years using the internet to really develop my business, show off and be my business card and show what I was doing. The problem is a lot of the ideas that you currently see in play today are my ideas. The yellow golf ball that Strixon came out with is a combination of Casco from Japan and what I was doing. It is not their idea, and they currently do not understand a yellow golf ball, so much so that their current Z-Star looks nothing like the original Z-Star, which was a really good-looking golf ball. So the thing I had to do is I didn't have market penetration worldwide. I was quite prepared to turn off the tap because I was having my ideas going to the major OEMs, and I just wasn't going to present it on a plate, Les. So currently, I've been, you wouldn't believe it, I've got a grassroots group of about 15,000 players worldwide that are tested. They are a part of my test pilot team. They buy product off me. They support me. They've been helping fund me. They're out there, they're finding people through a grassroots campaign. That's been fine for where I've been wanting to live. And uvgolf.com, Scott Stevens from Eat Sleep Golf has been helping me out of Canada. He's the guy that's been following through and finding me new players. We've been quite happy to sit on the sidelines since the GFC just to see what the golf ball industry was going to become. I understand what it is now today. I've seen what Acushnet have done in regards to legal cases against new players, so I understand that. So Ricky, I wanted everyone else to see what was going to happen. And I'm sitting behind them going, okay, so I'm not going to be doing that.
Yeah, don't do what everybody else is doing. Do your own thing. Well, hey, I can't thank you enough for coming on and doing this and talking about your products. Jason, I know you got some stuff to do. Les, I know you've got, well, nothing to do. You're retired. But before we let you go, we have this segment called the Back Nine. It's just 9 fun questions that are not as much about you and your product, just as about golf. So 9 fun golf-related questions. Are you ready for your Back Nine?
Okay, let's go, Ricky.
All right. What ball are you playing? And I think that if you don't say Vision golf balls, well, that's on you.
Okay, so that's me. I'm UV yellow, and I know it doesn't spin quite enough, but I love it. And I can't play a white golf ball, even though I've got to test a white golf ball.
That's awesome. So do you ever go out and just play 9 holes, not 18, just go play 9?
I believe golf should be more about 9 holes.
Ooh, I like that. We could have a whole hangout on that.
Yes.
What is your favorite golf course?
At the moment, it's New South Wales, and it's a coastal course here in Sydney. It's beautiful. It's like Pebble Beach.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been to Australia, but I can't come for just like a week though. I feel like if I'm going to go that far, I got to stay for a couple of weeks. Who is in your perfect foursome?
Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, and one of my old coaches was Norman von Nider. Norman von Nider played the World Tour back in the 50s. He was one of my original coaches. Jack's a hero. And sorry if I said someone else, I'd have to always say my father. My father's one of my heroes.
You can play in a foursome, that's fine. Just keep the pace away. Use your time. Have you ever had an ace?
I've had 4 aces. Yeah.
Of course you
have.
Anybody that's got one has got multiple.
No. I had one in a Pro-Am when I was 15 years old when I played the mini circuit in Singapore on a par 4.
Oh, no. Wow. I'm 15, ace, par 4. Yeah, all right. That's not fair. Who is your favorite LPGA Tour player?
Kari Webb.
Ooh,
Kari's, yeah, my dad was her original sponsor. He got her first set of 981 DCIs,
no
and
kidding.
she,
That's cool.
yeah, and if you look at her history, she is the best Australian player we've had. But I love where Jason Day's coming from, and Adam Scott, and all these new young guys.
So I like Jason Day, but Adam Scott cheats. He uses a long putter. Jason can relate to that. What is your favorite color? Because your golf balls have a slew of colors. What's your favorite color?
Okay, in golf balls, I'm yellow, seriously. But you know what? My favorite color in life is blue. So I am going to do a blue ball because it works.
That's awesome. That is so cool. You're wearing a blue shirt too. Okay, so we haven't talked about him at all today, and I know Les will appreciate this. Be nice, because I have a feeling I know how you're going to answer. But as Tiger's biggest fan, I have to ask this week in and week out. Do you think he breaks Jack's record? Why or why not?
No, I don't think he will end up breaking his record, because the thing is, he's not who he was. And the other one too is Jack's record is not just about the wins. Jack's record's about the first, second, and thirds in majors. No one's going to get near that. You
Yeah.
know, but don't worry, Tiger he's special, and the thing is, we just saw Davis Love win in his 50s. Tiger's going to win again.
Yeah. Tiger could win the shape he's in if he stays healthy. Tiger could win when he's in his late 50s, as far as that's concerned. And
Yeah, well,
your
look.
final question of your Friday foursome is, what's next for Vision Golf Balls? And to Les's point, an updated website, maybe?
Oh, no, hey. So, no, Les, I'm doing it because I'm really getting ready for America next year. So there's
All
a
right.
lot of
All right.
yes, I've got stuff on the go.
Good.
Very cool. Well, I know these golf balls are going to do, and he's not watching because I texted him and asked him, and he's out to lunch. Apparently on Fridays he doesn't have to watch the Friday Foursome. But as Matt Russ always likes to say, and I know these golf balls are going to help you do that, and that's make less bogeys.